Okay, last we learned, in the previous Mishnah, we learned about the Gzeirah of Ezra, who decreed against learning Torah when a person was a Baal Keri, when he was in Tumat Keri. Today we're going to learn the next Mishnah, which talks about not Kriyat Shema, not learning Torah, but davening. So, did the Gzeirah seem to extend to Tefillah as well? So, the Mishnah says, Hayom mid b'Tefillah. What if in the middle of Shemona Esrei, v'nizkar shehu Baal Keri? You remember, I'm a Baal Keri, I'm not allowed to daven. What should you do? The Mishnah says, Lo yafsik, ela yikatzer. He should not. Hafsik means to stop. Rather, yikatzer from the root katzar, he should rather shorten his davening. And the Gemara explains that yikatzer means that he does a tefillah katzara. There are different versions of tefillah katzara, as we're going to see later. There's Havinenu, but the general, the most popular tefillah katzara was where you just say the beginning of the end of the bracha. Tachonen adam dat. You just miss the middle little phrase in the tefillah, in the bracha, in each bracha. Now, what's interesting is that if it was, it shows you the level of the seriousness or the strong strength of this Gzeirah of Ezra, because if it was such a strong Gzeirah, you would have to stop at the middle of Shemona Esrei. Nonetheless, Chazal say you didn't have to do that. Rather, you just have to make it shorter. Okay. Yarad litbo. What happens if you're a Baal Keri? So, Baal Keri has to go to the mikvah. Yarad, he went down litbo to do tefillah in the mikvah. And now you're crunched for time because it's about time. You must now recite Kriyat Shema. Im yachol la'alot ulihitkasot v'likrot. If you can, la'alot, come back up, get out of the mikvah. Ulihitkasot, cover yourself. V'likrot, and to daven, to read from likro. Right, to read before the sun rises, because remember, according to the majority opinion in the Mishnah, or the first opinion in the Mishnah, the first opinion was you must say Kriyat Shema before Nates, until sunrise. We paskin like the second opinion, Rabbi Yeshua, who says we're all b'nei melachim. Nonetheless, if you can get up, come up, and cover yourself, and read before sunrise, yale v'yitkaseh v'yikra. Then you should get up, and you should cover yourself, and you should read Kriyat Shema, v'im lav. But if not, yitkaseh b'mayim v'yikra. You can cover yourself in water, and also read Kriyat Shema. There's an interesting halacha here. The halacha states that a person should not recite tefillah when makom erva ro'eh makom libo. So if you have, here's your lev, there should be a distinction, a separation between your erva, the person's private region, and his heart. So that's why, if you've seen, you might have noticed, everybody pretty much noticed, you ever see Chabadikim or Hasidim, they wear a gartel, they wear a belt. Okay? So since they're wearing a belt, that is in order to separate between the erva and the lev. So here the Mishnah says, if you're gitkaseh b'mayim, if you're covering yourself in water, and the Gadi explains that it can't be clear water, it has to be a little bit muddy water. So if you're in a mikveh in Yerushalayim, you're good. I assume the mikvaot in their times, or the wells that they went to dunk in, they were not clear, fresh water. So therefore, you cover yourself in water, v'yikra, you're fine, because it's not libo ro'eh et ervato, and therefore you can daven in the proper time frame. Aval lo yitkaseh lo b'mayim hara'im v'lo b'mei hamishra. You shouldn't cover yourself in mayim hara'im, in stenched water, in stinky water. Lo mei mishra. Mei mishra was, similarly, it was the water that they soaked flax in order to soften it, to make it into linen. But the water stank. It literally stank. So you can't cover yourself in that kind of water. It's a very interesting dichotomy. The Mishnah talks about a person wanting to say Kriyat Shema, and the only water he has this smelly water, ad she'atir letochan mayim, until you place into it water. You have to dilute it in some way. And the amount that you have to dilute it is very, very small amount. The Gadi explains, the Gemara says it's a revi'it. You have to pour in a tiny amount of water in order to... I'm doing this so you can see me. It's back. All right, a tiny amount of water. Is it this hand? There you go. A tiny amount of water into this huge amount of water. I guess it's symbolic dilution. But nonetheless, you should dilute the water to some degree in order to recite Shema while you're sitting in it. And how much should a person separate himself from tzoah, from excrement, and it's either people excrement or animal excrement? 4 amot. So it's this actually raises, there's a huge volume of of material in the Shulchan Aruch about how far away a person has to be from Tzo'ah. Now, thankfully, we live in much more sanitary times than in ancient times, but even until not so long ago, horses and agrarian societies, and there was just excrement all over the place. I imagine the whole place, the world smelled a lot worse. So therefore, Chazal were very, very meticulous about the idea that a person can't say, Dvarim should be Kedusha, you can't say Kriyat Shema, you can't daven either, okay? And if you're within 4 amot of excrement, this would actually have ramifications today for a person who's got a baby, and the baby sometimes walking around, with a load. So you can't daven if you're within 4 amot of it, from the sides or behind. And if it's in front of you, if you're davening straight forward and there's like a dog, left or present right in front of you, it's ad melo ra'av, as far as you can see. If you can see it, you're not allowed to daven in that direction either. Now, what should a person do if he's in the middle of Shemona Esrei and along comes a dog and makes a deposit? I don't know. Ask a Shaila. I want to dedicate this learning in memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. And as always, if you have questions or comments, rspalter@gmail.com. Have a great day.